So Boston has some really remarkable assets when you come to medicine and biomedical science. I'll start with the two universities. MIT and Harvard are separated by two subway stops. And historically, the two universities, one being engineering, one a broad university with all sorts of disciplines, have interacted with one another in collegial ways. And in the whole development of synthetic biology, recombinant DNA, genetic engineering in the 70s, both of us being part of Cambridge, dealt with the Cambridge city system to get them comfortable with doing synthetic recombinant DNA. So then when Biogen started in 78, the city of Cambridge said, we have our guidelines. I'm comfortable if you will work by the same guidelines the university has. And by the way, I'm even more comfortable if you will pay taxes. So they embraced Biogen opening the first lab there. It was the first lab in Cambridge. As we developed the company, we had to hire from the universities because that's where the science was understood as students and postdocs and others. We recruited into the company. The universities were nearby. The scientists there wanted to keep a relationship with the ongoing science in the field. The hospitals, Boston has 5 of the best hospitals in the country and highly ranked international. And therefore, we had physicians in the hospitals who understood science, understood how it could benefit their patients, and how they, by understanding the patient and the patient journey and the healthcare system limitations, how they could help us develop treatments that worked through the system, not solely for the benefit of patient, but that's ultimately the objective, but it has to work in a way that can be used. So the dialogue then between the hospital clinicians, the scientists, engineers, because you have to make these things. You have to make the drug, you have to make the oligo. You need engineers and chemists to do that. And so all of that was supported by this community. And as the community began to grow, it became a local community where a businessman will join a company as a young person, learn a lot about how to do entrepreneurial activities, and then strike out on their own. And scientists have new ideas, new discoveries, which they want to see if they actually can make an impact. And therefore, they seek out capital and new business leaders who will help them maneuver all this. So it's formed a actually collaborative, interactive community, which is the opposite of what pharmaceutical development was up to then. Because before that, everybody said, I'm going off into isolation, I'm going to develop a drug for this disease or that disease. I don't want to tell anyone about what I'm doing until I have the drug treated. Well, science got to move too fast for that. And therefore, sharing rapidly changing technology is what brought this whole enterprise together in Cambridge. You have to have a legal community, you have to have a press community, a PR community, you have to have skilled and knowledgeable investors. All of that has been in Boston for decades and decades. Venture capital was basically created out of Harvard Business School by someone associated with education at MIT. So it's created a fertile bed for biotechnology.